In the heat of the summer, most people tend not to pay much attention to political campaigns, but Election Day is now less than 3 months away, and the stakes are high.
Voters will decide a winner in all 435 districts of the U.S. House of Representatives and in 1/3 of the races for the U.S. Senate. If Democrats win control of one or both chambers from Republicans, it will dramatically shift the balance of power in Washington.
News Center Maine's Pat Callaghan was in Washington last week. He interviewed Chuck Todd, the moderator of NBC's Meet the Press.
Chuck Todd doesn't just cover politics, he lives and breathes it. And Pat asked him how his life has changed in the age of President Trump.
Well, I guess the thing is that it just is never, there's never a down moment. There's never a slow news day. There's never a moment when it feels as if, you know, one of the great descriptions, I think, of Donald Trump's election is that voters wanted disruption. He is disruptive, and he's constantly disruptive, and there isn't a schedule to it. And I think that it is certainly those of us in the news business, it is sometimes hard to get off the train. It is hard to sort of get a break because it doesn't seem like anything stops. So in that sense, you know, he's always moving, and that's sort of been the secret to Donald Trump over the years. He's kind of like a shark, you know. I think if he's not moving, he thinks that he would die. So you've got to keep moving, got to keep throwing stuff out at people, whether it's important or ridiculous.
And are we too easily distracted by those things?
Here's the thing, yes, and there's nothing we can do about it. Because who am I and who are you to tell the public to decide which of the president's words don't mean anything and which of them do? And just because it's said on a tweet, is it make it I mean, you know, because I write you a letter versus say it on television versus say it, you know, it is, I think that's what makes it, yes, it's a trap, but what are we supposed to do? He's the president of the United States.
And his words have meaning.
His words have weight no matter how he says it or tweets it or utters it.
Senator Susan Collins under enormous pressure once again on a national issue, this time the Supreme Court nominee. Some of the ads will say the fate of reproductive rights are in your hands. Is that really true this time, given that some Democrats may be crossing over to vote for Callaghan?
Look, I think the fact of the matter is what's interesting about the targeting of Susan Collins and also Lisa Murkowski, the other pro-choice Republican in the U.S. Senate of Alaska, is that the groups that are targeting her to get her to do this, the reason they're trying to get her to flip is it's the only way they can get those red state Democrats to flip. If she votes no on Kavanaugh, then your Democratic incumbent senators in West Virginia, Indiana, and North Dakota she provides that cover. So in many cases, she is the canary in the coal mine for the Democratic groups. If they can get her to flip, then those other Democrats flip. But here's the thing, she doesn't look like she's going to flip, and those 3 red state Democrats are anxious to show that they'll vote with Trump on something.
Both Susan Collins and Angus King and the other senators on the Intelligence Committee keep waving the red flag about election interference.
Yes.
Is the administration, the Trump administration, taking this problem seriously enough?
Look, it's hard to find evidence that they are taking it very seriously. The president himself has not made it a priority. It's no doubt that because it's wrapped up in the Mueller investigation, he can't seem to separate the two things. I think his administration certainly is feeling the pressure both coming from Congress, but now you've got Facebook trying to be more aggressive in showing and trying to do some things. So look, individually the intelligence community is united in this, saying that more has got to be done, but as far as the security aspect, we don't seem to be doing anything proactive. Right now we're still in the, oh my God, this is happening, what are we going to do about it stage.
The president's tariffs are being felt in Maine, in particular by lobstermen who sell directly to China and suddenly aren't selling to China. They're also facing problems with the steel tariffs because that's what their traps are made out of. And as far as we can tell, so far, lobster is not included in any kind of bailout proposal. Is this going to be a problem for Republicans in general if the president sticks with this?
Look, agricultural tariffs always hit people immediately. There's always an immediate hit. The metal tariffs, sometimes you can delay the impact of those by 6 months, 12 months, depending on your industry. I think these ag tariffs, but if you look at it, the president appears to be looking at this in a pure midterm political sense, which is these are doing the most damage to me politically in the Midwest, so all of the assistance is being targeted at those Midwest agricultural, which is why lobster's been left off. You talk to folks in California and walnut farmers, they're upset that they've been left out, for instance. So I think now the response clearly is about November and the midterm. So perhaps the best thing Maine's lobster industry could do is play up the importance of the Maine 2nd Congressional District race, and maybe they find their way onto the list.
And what is the national read on that 2nd District race?
That I'd look at the 2nd District is I'll tell you it this way. No party, in my 25 years of covering politics, it is rare for the majority party not to control Maine's 2nd District. It is always, while it is not the purest swing district, it does have a tendency of whichever party nationally is in charge, somehow the 2nd District floats in that direction. You know, maybe it wants to be more one way or the other, but it always seems to go wherever the majority. So to me, it's a bit of a bellwether in New England. You know, you tell me what party controls the Maine 2nd, and I think 9 times out of 10, that's the party that controls Congress.
Finally, as a football fan, are you sick of Tom Brady?
As a football fan of teams that have lost to Tom Brady, yes. But hey, you know,
he keeps hanging on.
Hey, I'm not going to trash Tom Brady in New England. I'm not insane. I'd like people to still watch.
It's very typical Pat Callaghan to save the hardest question for last.
Yep, and Chuck Todd is not a politician, but that was a good politician's response right there. You can watch Chuck Todd on Meet the Press Sunday mornings at 9 o'clock right here on News Center, Maine. Well, summertime means summer camps, and Maine has plenty to choose from. There is one that just wrapped up in Hiram called Ossipee Valley String Camp.
Rob Nesbitt shows us how a passion for string instruments turned out to be much larger than expected.
The Sound of Strings was a weekend affair at the Ossipee Valley Fairgrounds in Hiram. Musicians enjoying their favorite instruments with others during the 5th annual string camp, instructor Lauren Ryu being one of them.
I love how relaxed this camp is while still maintaining an excellent educational environment.
In that last phrase, you really got to leave some space, get the breath in there.
Jamming out is fun, but most are here to learn. More than 100 campers signed up to learn from experts about string instruments,
rather than listening and responding to what's going on around you.
The guitar, mandolin, violin, fiddle, cello, banjo, and upright bass.
This is my main instrument. I also play the electric bass.
Long, short, short, long.
During this advanced violin class, campers like Micah John refined their already impressive skills. Individual training.
Can you play that chunk in like half?
And as a group.
Yeah. Play the whole part now.
Probably meeting people and just playing a lot of music in 1 week.
It's not just the strings she plays. Micah also had the chance to practice her vocals while attending Ossipee Valley String Camp.
All it took to make me know that I still care.
A 5-day session that ended up being a family affair for the 12-year-old.
My little brother Simeon, he's 11 and he plays bass. He's here, and my little sister's here, Ada. She's 7, and both of my parents are here.
Once camp is over, the Ossipee Valley Music Festival starts, a 4-day event that makes it a point to showcase female string musicians, a genre of music known for being male-dominated.
The dreams we used to share.
Both the guys and gals who chose to attend the camp may have had to deal with hot, humid days and severe thunderstorms at night, but they didn't seem to mind.
You got your index finger on the F sharp? Leave it down.
Learning music and getting a chance to do yoga, go swimming, and hiking. Even if it was something non-string related that they were taking part in, the conversations were still based around their similar interests. Playing instruments and learning lessons they can take home to practice until next year's string camp.
But to know that it's like all year long, you can work on this stuff and then you can come back to this camp or go to a different festival and continue to learn, that the journey of learning through music is just a lifelong one.
In Hiram, Rob Nesbitt, News Center, Maine.
Play that.
The string camp has grown substantially since it began, from 30 campers just 5 years ago to the more than 100 who signed up this year.
I don't know if it's the same in other states. I think it is not, but there really in Maine seems to be a strong interest in fiddling rootsy kinds of, guitars, fiddles, mandolins, that kind of bluegrass music. People just getting together and having fun playing that. I don't think it happens like that in New Jersey.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Just an observation. Want a flavor to kick up your grilling this summer? Chef Pete Sultenfuss from The Other Side Deli shows us his take on a spicy relish when we return.